All right, welcome in to the latest and greatest episode of the Knucklehead Show. I'm your host, Kelvin Ware Jr., and today I'm gonna do something a little different. I just kind of want to riff and rant about something that's been bothering me a lot. Um, Here at the Knucklehead Show, we are a community of thinkers. We want to really take the time to analyze things and make sure that we're making the best decisions possible to put ourselves in position to win. That's the whole point. It's a financial channel so that we can put ourselves in the best position to win. Something that I am seeing consistently is people allowing other people to tap into their emotions to make them make decisions that put them out of position. We all have emotions, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we're making decisions and making plans about our financial future, you have to put that to the side, which is frankly is the hardest part about it, because money, finances, our future are very emotional topics. It's just how it is. Most of our spending is emotional spending. It's just how it is. So it's hard to pull yourself out of that zone and try to analyze things properly. It's the hardest thing for me to do. When I talk to my mentor about it, it's the hardest thing for him to do. And we're all the same. But it's something that we have to do. Something that I've been seeing a lot this year, definitely over the last year, and I've been paying a lot of attention to, is people being able to hot button other people out of position using emotional things. Now, follow me here. I paid close attention to the two union, well, one union went on strike and the other union did not go on strike, but they were threatening to. The two contract disputes between the UAW and the big three automakers. You have General Motors, the Ford Motor Company, and now they're called Stellantis, but they used to be Chrysler, which is Chrysler, Chevy. Sorry, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, that company. So those are the big three American automakers. I paid close attention to the UAW, United Auto Workers, and their strike against the big three. And I also paid attention to the UPS renegotiating their contract, the unions renegotiating their contract with UPS. I paid attention to both of these things very, very closely because I used to be a union worker myself many, many years ago. And now that I'm a business owner, I try to look at these disputes from both sides. And when you look at some of the, especially with the UAW strike, when you look at what their president, Sean Fain, was saying and how he was able to tap into a lot of the union, the auto workers' emotions to get them greased up to then go after the automakers. It it's brilliant on his part, but then it hurt a lot of the same people that went out and went on strike and and ratified the New Deal. Something that you always have to pay attention to and you have to recognize, and if you are an employee of anybody, you have to accept with any company, especially if they are a publicly traded company, there's a hierarchy, there's a totem pole. The most important group to that company are the shareholders. They are always going to come first. Next down after that will be the customers. So obviously, if we were making a product and nobody is buying it, then we have a huge problem. The bottom of the totem pole is the employees. Look, I don't make the rules. I'm just reporting them. And we all have to be okay with that. something that I thought that strike and what they were asking for. Now, if they wanted a raise, and the big three came to them and offered them a raise, but then they wanted, I thought, me personally, I thought they wanted a lot. They wanted almost a 40 something percent raise, and they were trying to get a basically a 4-day work week, which I never thought they were going to get, but they were pushing it. They were selling it to the workers. Something that in any situation you have to pull yourself out of and look at the totality of the situation. The big three automakers are losing. They are losing in their sector. If anybody is paying attention, Ford, GM, and Stellantis no longer make sedans. They got rid of all of their sedans. Why? Because they cannot compete with automakers overseas. They can't make a comparable product at the same price. Well, a lot of the automakers overseas don't have unions. Your labor is going to be your number one cost of any business. You look at any business on the books, labor is the number one cost. That's why if you pay attention, a lot of these companies are trying to trim the fat. What's the first thing they do? They lay people off. It's the fastest way to clear money off your books. And then you just work the people that you have a little bit harder. That's just what it is. So I'm looking at the UAW, and they're going after the automakers. And I'm like, you guys are trying to extract more money from the company that you work for, even though you are unionized. I get that, but you're trying to extract more money from the company that you work for when they're already in a losing position in your sector. You're setting yourself up for failure. Now, already we're already seeing they went on strike. You're already hurt. Whenever the union goes on strike, the company feels it, and all the surrounding businesses that are connected, everybody feels it. So they went through that. They got a deal done. The deal's done. Now there's going to be increases in pay over the next couple of years, and everybody's good. We won. The union, we won. Now we're going to go after some of the other companies. As Sean Fain said, we got the big three. We're trying to go after the overseas companies and unionize their manufacturing plants here in America. Has anybody been paying attention? A lot of these places are already laying people off. So you have people that voted to go on strike. Because if you guys are not familiar with the union, the way it works is if they have a vote to see if they're going to go, if they're going to strike. They vote, and then as a collective, the people they say yes, we're going to go, and we're going to go on strike. They go on strike. Now there are people who voted to go on strike, were on strike where they were not getting paid, or they were getting paid. Most unions have strike pay, which is something, it's very, very minuscule. And that strike was a fairly long strike. So it was people that they were out of work for, I want to say that strike was almost 2 months. Don't quote me, but if I'm not mistaken, it was close to 2 months. It was a very long strike. So people went 2 months without regular pay. So they voted for that. They went 2 strikes without regular pay. Then they come to an agreement. The automakers, the big three, and the UAW, the union. They sit down, they come to have an agreement. Once the big three offers them the deal, the leadership takes the deal back to the workers, and then they have to vote again to ratify the deal. So there are people that voted to go on strike, sat out for a month, 2 months, and then came back and voted to ratify the new deal. And they're getting laid off today. You just got finessed. Now the leadership at the union, Sean Fain, during that whole time, Sean Fain makes over $300,000 a year. He's not starving in any way, shape, or form. But he's always telling the people, he's like, man, we're going against corporate greed, and we got to stick it to the man. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, first off, unfortunately, workers, you're at the bottom of the totem pole. So if you're disrupting too many things above you, they're going to cut you. Whether that's fair or not, that's just what it is. You see the same thing that happened over there with the unions with UPS. There are guys, now mind you, they didn't go on strike, but there are guys that voted to to go on strike or threatened to strike. They didn't go on strike. The UPS offered them a deal. Their leadership thought it was a good deal, took the deal back to the package handlers, drivers, the people that work inside the facilities. They all voted. Cool. We ratified the deal. And then we see the headlines. Man, the UPS driver is making $190,000 a year. If they're top scale and they work a lot of hours, then they probably will. And they probably won't get fired either. But if you read the articles, if you pay attention to what's going on, a lot of these UPS facilities, they are cutting entire shifts. A lot of these UPS facilities, especially, so I'm here in the Chicagoland area, a lot of these facilities, they have a day and night shift. Most UPS facilities do, especially if you're close to a major city. They have a day, it's either a day and night shift or they almost have 3 full shifts. They are cutting full shifts from some of these facilities. So there is somebody who voted to go on strike. They didn't have to go on strike, so they didn't lose any money there. They voted to ratify the new deal, but UPS has shareholders that they have to make sure that they are profitable to. That's number one on the totem pole. We just talked about it. They also have to make sure that their new cost in labor is not being pushed too much onto the consumer, customers, number two. And if both of those two are being affected, they're going to cut jobs. We're already, don't believe what they're saying, where they're like, man, we might be in the recession. We've been in a recession, but now it's just things are getting worse. And we're going to continue to see jobs being lost. And this is why here at the Knucklehead community, I want us to be document pullers. You have to be able to, you have to learn how to go and research things and pull documentation. You have to. Some of these things that I'm seeing online, I've known about for months. Months. I tell everybody, dailyjobcuts.com, one of my favorite sites. I think I've talked about it every video that I've had so far. Just that site alone, you get on there and you understand, oh crap, who is laying off? Because the people, they announce the layoffs before they start cutting people. So if you're on that website and you're checking it out, you know that, hey, this sector or this company, and sometimes it may not even be the company that you work for, or if you have a business, it may not even be a business partner or somebody that you have a contract with, but it could be something related. We have to be informed about these things. We have to take time to pay attention to these things. I just wanted to rant about that really quick and break that down. Don't allow people to twist your emotions and allow you to put yourself out of position. So I'm trying to help put everybody in position. That's the whole point of this channel. That's the whole point of this community. We're helping each other win. But sometimes, not even sometimes, very, very often, people are trying to put you out of position. They're trying to do what's best for them and make it seem like it's best for you when it's not. Sean Fain made all those people think that going on strike, losing all that pay was best for them. If you guys have not been, I say pull documents, read articles. Right? That's why I always talk about read books. Reading books is great, fantastic. But sometimes, man, just reading up on companies, reading up on sectors, I read up on the banking sector a lot. That lets you know a lot about what's going on with money and liquidity. Reading up on the real estate market, that lets you know how things are going. And you know that our entire economy is tied to those two things. And they're tied to each other. If the financial markets are messed up, you guarantee the real estate market is going to be messed up, and vice versa. And if both of them are messed up, which they are, what do you think is going to happen to the economy? Hell, man, I went to the grocery store today. I'm just trying to go grocery shopping for the next week and a half. It was $160. Huh? $80 at the pump. It's crazy out here. But then you have to put yourself in a position to understand why it's happening, where we came from, and where we're going. And we have to do research. Hell, 30 minutes a day will change your entire economic plan. It's necessary. So again, do not listen to people when they are trying to get you emotional and put you out of position. You have to read documents. You have to pay attention to what's going on. Read articles. Read up. If it's a company that you help, if you want to invest in the stocks, like I had a client who wanted to understand what they should be investing in, and she said, "Man, I'm thinking about investing into the the stock market." I asked her, "Well, what companies are you researching?" Well, none. Don't put a damn dime in the market, then, baby. Don't put a dime in the market. You're not doing research. You're not pulling documents. There's a million ways. There's a million uh, newsletters or programs that you can sign up for. The Wall Street Journal, American Banker, which is a tool that I signed up for. You got to know what's going on, because if a lot of those auto workers, if they had been paying attention, they would know, hey, yeah, I'm union, but I'm working for Stellantis. I'm at a Dodge plant. We make Dodge Rams. Well, I do research. I know that Dodge is selling horribly right now. They're having a hard time moving units. Well, the economy's messed up and their vehicles are extremely overpriced. Like Stellantis almost tried to force themselves into being a luxury brand. A Jeep Grand Cherokee is almost the same price as a Lincoln Aviator. Lincoln Aviator is, we understand, Lincoln is luxury. Jeep, I mean, they make good vehicles. I have a Durango. So I have a Chrysler vehicle or a Stellantis vehicle. I love my car, but if somebody tried to charge me $20,000 over what they charge, I'm not touching it. But that's what they did. Now they're having trouble. They already don't make sedans, and they're having trouble moving all the vehicles that they do make, whether they're SUVs and their pickups. They're having trouble. So now, if we have to pay all of our employees more, that means we're cutting into the shareholders, and we're already having a problem with our customers. What do you think is going to happen? They've already made plans to start moving towards more automation and job cuts. Now, these people just went on strike and they voted for their own demise. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to be smarter and not emotional when it comes to financial and economic decisions. You cannot do it, because people will put you out of position. What it is. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the love. Until next time, y'all be safe out here.